Back in the fall of 2019, I was hauling freight through the Appalachian back roads, mostly solo runs from Pittsburgh down to Charleston, West Virginia. I'd been on the road for 3 straight days, running on coffee, truck stop burritos, and the kind of exhaustion that makes your bones hum. That night, I was dead tired, eyes burning like someone had tossed sand in them, and I spotted this rest area off Route 19 near Summersville. It wasn't on my usual route, but it looked quiet, and I figured 20 minutes of shut-eye wouldn't hurt. The place was practically swallowed by trees, with flickering sodium lights and one busted payphone hanging off its cord like a broken neck. I remember thinking it looked like a set from a horror movie, but hey, I've slept in worse. I locked the cab like I always do, double-clicked the fob, heard the locks thud shut, and stretched my legs for maybe 10 minutes. The air was thick and still, not a single bug chirping, which already felt off. When I got back, my stomach dropped before I even saw it. The driver's door was cracked open, just a hair, like someone had slipped out real quiet. My heart started jackhammering. I always lock it, always. And then I saw the note, tucked under the wiper blade like a parking ticket from hell. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely unfold it. But what really froze my blood wasn't just the message, "You shouldn't have stopped here." It was the handwriting. It was mine. Same loopy Y, same way I crossed my T too high, like I'd written it myself, but I hadn't. I stood there in the gravel lot, staring at that note like it might burst into flames. My breath came in short, sharp bursts, and I kept glancing over my shoulder, half expecting someone to watch from the tree line. The GPS on my dash, which usually rock solid, was glitching hard. The map kept zooming in and out, roads vanishing and reappearing, and my own truck icon was flickering between 2 locations like it couldn't decide if I was here or 10 miles back. I tapped the screen, rebooted it, nothing. Then I heard it, a soft click from inside the cab, like a door latch engaging. But I hadn't touched the handle. I swear my skin went cold all over, like someone had poured ice water down my spine. I yanked the door open, half ready to bolt, but the cab looked untouched, except for the passenger seat. It was slightly reclined. I never reclined that seat. Never. I climbed in fast, locked the doors manually this time, twist the knob, push it down, and started the engine. The diesel rumbled to life, but the headlights flickered once, twice, then died. Not dimmed, died, total darkness, except for the orange glow of the dash. I tried the high beams, the flashers, nothing. Outside, the rest area lights buzzed like angry hornets, until one by one they went out too, until I was sitting in this bubble of blackness with just the trees pressing in. That's when I noticed the smell, wet earth, and something metallic like old pennies. And then from the back of the trailer, a slow, dragging sound. Not loud, but steady. Scritch, scritch, scritch. Like something heavy being pulled across the floor. I didn't breathe. I didn't move. I just sat there, hands white-knuckled on the wheel, praying it was a raccoon or my imagination, but deep down I knew it wasn't. I didn't dare check the trailer, not then. I jammed the truck into drive and peeled out of that lot so fast gravel pinged off the undercarriage like gunfire. The headlights came back on about a mile down the road, just as I hit the edge of cell service. My hands were still shaking when I pulled over at a real gas station 20 minutes later. Bright lights, people milling around, a dog barking from a pickup bed. Normalcy. I walked around the whole rig 3 times, checking every latch, every seal. Nothing was broken, nothing was missing. But when I climbed back in, there was a new note. The passenger seat. Same paper, same handwriting, mine. But this one just said, "You're still here." I swear I didn't cry, but my throat closed up so tight I couldn't swallow. I called my dispatcher, made up some story about mechanical trouble, and refused to drive another mile that night. Slept in the cab with the doors locked and a wrench in my hand. The next morning, I inspected the trailer with daylight on my side. Nothing. No scratches, no signs of entry.
But when I got home a week later and washed the windshield, I found something weird etched into the glass near the wiper arm. Tiny, almost invisible unless the sun hit it right. 3 letters, W-A-I. Like the start of wait, but cut off. Or maybe W-A-I as in something else. I never went back to that rest stop, never even looked it up online. Part of me scared I'll find it doesn't exist. But sometimes, late at night, on a quiet stretch of highway, I catch myself glancing at my own handwriting in the logbook and wondering if it's really mine. Story 2. My wife, Jess, and I booked that cabin last October for our 5th anniversary. Needed a real break from the city, you know? We'd been scrolling through Airbnb late one night, both half asleep, when this place popped up, Whisper Pines Retreat, tucked deep in the Blue Ridge foothills of North Carolina. Gorgeous photos, floor-to-ceiling windows, a stone fireplace, mist curling through the trees at sunrise. 5-star reviews raving about the peaceful solitude and perfect disconnect. Press was suspiciously low for how nice it looked, but we figured it was just a host trying to build ratings. We booked it on a Thursday morning, drove down Friday morning with coffee, snacks, and 0 expectations beyond quiet woods and good wine. We turned onto the dirt road around 3 p.m., GPS cutting in and out as the trees closed in. The cabin was exactly like the pictures. Rustic but clean, cedar siding, smoke curling from the chimney, even though we hadn't lit a fire. Weird, but we assumed the host had prepped it. Just went to plug her phone in while I unloaded the bags, and that's when she yelled, "Babe, it's gone!" The listing vanished from the app. Not just hidden, not unavailable, completely erased like it never existed. We tried searching the name, the address, even screenshots we'd saved. Nothing. My stomach dropped. We knocked on the door of the nearest house half a mile down the road. An old man with milky eyes answered. When we mentioned the cabin, he went pale. "Ain't nobody lived up there since '09, he said. "Place burned halfway down in a lightning strike. Just ruins." But we were standing in a fully intact, warm, smelling like pine needles cabin. We went back inside, hearts pounding, and started checking every room like we'd missed something. That's when Jess froze in the bedroom. On the nightstand, next to a half-charged portable battery pack, was a smartphone. Black, cracked screen, definitely not ours. She picked it up gently, and before I could say, "Don't touch it," it rang. Loud, jarring, the default ringtone blaring in the quiet room. The caller ID flashed Jess. Not wife or Jessica, just her full name, exactly how my phone saves her. She stared at it like it was a live wire. I grabbed it and answered, voice shaking. "Hello?" Only silence, then a breath. Slow, wet, like someone clearing their throat underwater. And then Jess's voice, not a recording, not a mimic, her voice saying, "Why did you leave me here?" I dropped the phone like it burned me. It hit the floor and kept ringing, again and again, always from Jess. We packed our stuff in under 3 minutes, didn't even zip the suitcases. As we were backing down the driveway, I glanced in the rearview mirror and saw a figure standing in the bedroom window. Same height as Jess, same dark hair, but completely still, face half in shadow. I stomped the gas. We didn't
Stop until we hit Asheville, checking into a chain hotel with fluorescent lights and security cameras. That night, Jess couldn't sleep, kept staring at her own phone like it might turn on her. And get this, when we got home, I found a photo in my camera roll I didn't take. The 2 of us, asleep in that cabin bed, time-stamped 2:17 a.m. Saturday. But we'd already left by 4 p.m. Friday. We reported the cabin to Airbnb, but they had no record of it. No host, no listing, not even a shadow in their system. The local sheriff's office sent a deputy out the next week. He called us back sounding rattled. Said the structure was there all right. Rotted porch, broken windows, charred beams, but no power, no furniture, and definitely no working fireplace. And in what used to be the bedroom, he found a melted phone fused to the floorboards, with the SIM card still intact. They ran the number
It was registered to a woman named Jessica Moore, who'd gone missing in 2018 after booking a weekend getaway with her husband. The husband? Never found. Last seen driving a silver Subaru toward the Blue Ridge Parkway. Jess and I don't talk about it much now, but sometimes when she's in the shower or out running errands, my phone buzzes with a call from her name. And when I answer, there's just breathing on the other end. I always hang up fast. But last week I swear I heard it whisper, "You're next." We sold the Subaru, changed our numbers, even moved states. But here's the thing that keeps me up. A few nights ago, I woke up to Jess standing at the foot of our bed, back turned, staring out the window. I called her name, no answer. Then she turned around and smiled. But it wasn't her smile. It was too wide, too many teeth. I blinked and she was gone. When I asked her about it the next morning, she looked confused, then scared. "I didn't get out of bed last night," she said. And that's when I knew the cabin didn't just have a ghost, it is one, and somehow it followed us home. Story 3. Last summer, I took a solo backpacking trip into the boundary waters of northern Minnesota. Just me, a 40-pound pack, and 7 days of silence. I've been planning it for months. No cell service, no trails, just lakes, pines, and the kind of quiet that makes your thoughts echo. I brought a trail camera, one of those motion-activated ones, mostly to catch a moose or maybe a bear near my campsite. Set it up the first night on a birch tree about 30 yards from my tent, angled toward the clearing where I had pitched it. The air was cool, mosquitoes buzzing low, and I remember zipping myself in, exhausted, listening to loons call across the water. Life felt simple then, just survival, solitude, and the rhythm of sunrise and sunset. I checked the camera on day 5, thinking I'd have a few blurry deer shots or maybe a raccoon raiding my food bag. Instead, I froze the second I scrolled past the timestamp from night 2. There I was, my green tent, my boots lined up outside, my sleeping bag lumped with me inside. But beside it, standing perfectly still in the same spot for over 3 hours, was a figure. Tall, too tall, maybe 6'5", with arms hanging straight down, fingers almost brushing the ground. Its head was tilted slightly, face buried in the shadow of a hood or maybe just the dark itself. No movement, no shifting weight, nothing. And the worst part? It wasn't there when I woke up. No footprints, no snapped twigs, not even a bent blade of grass where it stood.
But the camera didn't lie. It captured 187 consecutive frames of that thing just watching me sleep. I sat on a mossy log for nearly an hour, flipping through those images like I could will them into being a glitch. But the timestamps were solid, 11:03 p.m. to 2:17 a.m. And the moonlight that night was bright enough to cast sharp shadows. The figure didn't flicker or warp like a lens flare. It was there, solid, present. I kept zooming in on its silhouette, desperate for a detail, a sleeve, a boot, anything human. But all I got was darkness where a face should be, like the camera refused to record it. My hands got clammy, and I swear the forest went quiet around me, not even wind in the pines. That's when I noticed something else. In every frame, my tent zipper was slightly open, just like I always leave it for airflow. But in the last image, right before the figure vanished at 2:17 a.m., the zipper was closed. I never closed it that night. I never do. I packed up camp in a panic, heart slamming against my ribs, and hiked out 2 days early. Didn't stop to filter water, didn't eat, just walked, glancing over my shoulder every 30 seconds. When I got home, I uploaded the footage to my laptop and showed it to my brother, who's a wildlife biologist. He watched it 3 times, then went pale. "Trail cams don't record unless there's motion or heat," he said. "But that thing, it triggered the sensor once and then stayed in frame without moving. That shouldn't be possible." He suggested corrupted files or a reflection, but we both knew reflections don't close tent zippers. That night I dreamt I was back in the tent and something was breathing softly just outside the nylon wall. When I woke up, my bedroom window, locked before bed, was cracked open, and on the sill, damp with dew, was a single pine needle. I didn't sleep for 2 nights after that. Checked every window, every closet, even under the bed like I was a kid again. I thought maybe I was cracking under the isolation, that my brain had stitched together fear and fatigue into something real. But then I found the photos, more of them, buried in a hidden folder on the memory card I swore I'd erased. Night 3, night 4, same figure, different angles. Once it was crouched beside my cooking pot. Another time, its hand, long fingers, too many knuckles, was resting on the strap of my pack. And in one frame, so faint I almost missed it, the shadow where its face should be had opened. Not eyes, not a mouth, just a deeper blackness, like a hole punched through reality. I threw the memory card in the river behind my house. But that didn't stop the dreams, or the feeling that I'm being watched from the edge of my own vision. Last week, I went for a walk in a local state park. Daylight, crowded trails, just to prove to myself I wasn't broken. Halfway down the path, I saw a trail camera strapped to an oak. Not mine, obviously, but something made me stop. I looked around, no one nearby, then checked the preview screen. It cycled through thumbnails, squirrels, birds, a jogger, and then me, standing right where I was now. But in the photo, I was alone, and behind me, barely visible between the trees, was that same tall figure, watching, waiting. I ran home and haven't gone into the woods since. But sometimes late at night, I hear a soft click outside my window. The sound a trail camera makes when it captures motion. And I lie there frozen, wondering if tonight's the night it shows me something new, or if it's already been recording me this whole time.